Well, hi, I'm Laura, and welcome to the channel. Well, have you ever scrolled social media and put your phone down and thought to yourself, I think I'm the only person who doesn't have a huge social circle, a girl crew that I can brunch with and lunch with and travel with? What's wrong with me? Well, I got a great question from one of the members of our YouTube community, and I just love the question because, as social as I've been or been forced to be over my adult life, I'm the first one that will tell you that I'm not one of those girls. I don't have a huge crew of women. If you see my picture on Facebook at a social event, it's usually because I've been invited. It's usually a charity event, and it usually requires making a donation. Nothing wrong with that. But I'm not out and about or laying on the beach in Mexico with 10 of my closest friends or on a cruise with my girl gang. It just doesn't happen. I'm not that kind of girl. Now, have I been on a girls' trip? Yes. I have two college roommates that live in different parts of the country. I've talked about those on those friends on the channel before. And in order to get together with them, we kind of randomly pick a different city that's easy for us to all get to. But that's the extent of my girls' trips. I don't have a big group that I travel with. I actually laughingly told someone that I'm not the girl you call, the woman, the woman that you call when you want to go out and have a couple of drinks and laugh the night away, maybe dance, have a good time. That's not me. Nothing wrong with that, but I'm not on that invitation list. Now, you might pick up the phone and call me if you want to go have a cup of coffee and talking about an idea you have, a business venture, just get some ideas and some input on something. But you're not going to call me to go have a good time. I don't make the brunch list. I don't make the party list. And I sure as heck don't make the vacation list. So I can feel bad sometimes when I see all those pictures, but not because I feel bad about myself. I'm just perplexed. And the gal that sent me this idea for the video felt exactly like I feel, perplexed. Like, is that a normal thing? And why do some women just seem to be a magnet for large groups that are always out and always having fun? And other women, we never get the invitation. I will say, if you are a woman who has raised a daughter, or you are raising a daughter now, if you have a granddaughter, a niece, a young woman in your life that's important to you, you know full well the damage that social media has done to our kids because they never get a break from this pressure to be social. Because oftentimes, social equals popularity. I've shared that I wrote a book, my second book. It's called Where the Mean Girls Go. And it starts out on the playground. We learn that the girl who gets invited to all the parties, the most sleepovers, is the popular girl. And often we wonder, what would it take for them to like me? Okay, what would it take for me to be popular? And our kids can't get away from it now. They see it constantly. We used to get off the school bus, and that was the end of our, at least for me, that was the end of my social life until I went back to school the next day, unless I saw a neighbor or play kickball outside in the street with the other kids in the neighborhood. But that was just fun. I wasn't reading comments about myself or seeing who likes who or who went to a party that I wasn't invited to. Now these kids are inundated that everyone else is having fun. Everyone else looks fabulous because, of course, we're all putting our best selves out there. Have you ever posted a picture of yourself where you look like absolute, not on purpose, for sure. Most of us have cropped a few pictures and maybe hit the adjustment and made sure that, we looked a little more, flush in the cheeks. I've done it for sure. But is it normal? Is it normal, or are we abnormal when we don't have a big girl group that we are part of? And we know who they are in our communities or in our larger circles because we see them posting on social media every time they go to dinner, every time they take a cruise, every time. I mean, I can't imagine someone calling me to go on a cruise. I mean, I just don't know that it would ever happen. Um, Maybe I'm just not that much fun. But guess what? I'm perfectly happy and I'm perfectly content. So that's the crossroads. I do not believe for a second that all those women are living, la vida loca. I just don't believe it. Life isn't all fabulous and rosy and great for them. I actually asked a woman not too long ago, a woman who is very social, in similar circles. She is always vacationing with the girls and living a fun life. I mean, at least on social media. And I asked her, I said, are like you super close to those gals? And like, what do you get out of that? Because maybe I'm missing out. I went into the question as if I was the odd man out. Because honestly, when you look at those pictures, you think, yes, they're more popular. People want to be around them. So that's why they're invited. They get something out of that group dynamic that maybe I'm missing out on. And she really couldn't answer the question. She said it started with a conversation over lunch, and next thing you know, texts were flying back and forth. And at the end of our conversation, she said to me, I think some of the women on the trip are happier, like getting away from their normal day to day life. And so, yes, I think there is a lot of escapism. We want to be where we feel at ease. And sometimes we're willing to be around people that, they're not close friends, but they're okay. And hey, we're all having a good time together. We're on vacation. What couldn't be fun about that? But it makes the rest of us feel that we're missing out on something. Now, do I want to go back and do things differently? Do I want to go on a bunch of cruises with a bunch of girls? Absolutely not. No interest whatsoever. And I bet most of you feel the same way too. So, how do we look at it and take it for what it's worth? And so I'll close with this. As long as you're happy doing what you're doing, surrounded by the people and the things that make you happy, you have to take the other with a grain of salt. What is the saying? Be careful what you wish for. If someone called you tomorrow and said, hey, we're going to Mexico on an all girls trip, all inclusive, join us. Sometimes they're just trying to fill X number of spots. Sometimes, they'll take anybody who can go, who can make it happen, get it on their calendar. But if it isn't what makes us happy, then there's nothing wrong with not being one of those girls, one of those women who just isn't going to get those invitations. It looks a lot more fun than it is, but we've been trained as little girls that the number of friends somehow equates to the level of our popularity. The number of invitations somehow equates to how cool we are or how liked we are, what people think of us. And honestly, at the end of the day, isn't it about what makes us feel good every day and building our own communities of people that care about the things that we care about? So the next time you're scrolling on social media, remind yourself, number one, we all know it. No one's life looks like that. Number two, it isn't as fun as you might think it is because those big smiles on people's faces is for the camera. And that the number of friends we have doesn't have anything to do with the quality of person that we are. It isn't that you're not looking in the right places or meeting the right people or being accepted by the right people. We put out there what we want to get back. And I bet you're like me. If you really wanted to go on one of those trips, if you really wanted to be part of that brunch bunch, you would call someone you knew in the group and you would say, hey, I'd love to join you the next time. But there's a reason you're not making that call. There's a reason you're not asking to be included because maybe, just maybe, you're very happy where you are, being surrounded by smaller groups of friends, people that you care about, doing the things that you enjoy, and going to the places where you feel comfortable. Well, thanks so much for the topic. If you've got something on your mind, I would love for you to drop it in the comments as we all navigate this thing called getting older together. Take care. Thanks so much and have a great week.